Inside Lacrosse here at Loyola University in Baltimore, where Virginia came in and escaped with a 16-15 win in an exciting game to open the season for both teams. 83 total shots were taken. If you're a fan of back and forth, up and down lacrosse, this was definitely the game for you. Both teams went on runs of 3 to 6 goals throughout the game. 13 goals scored in the fourth quarter alone. Alex McGovern for Loyola, 2 goals, 3 assists. Virginia was able to hold Pat Spencer to just 2 assists in the game. He was locked down by Tanner Scales for the majority of the game, but there was a lot of switching. For Virginia, first-year Dox Aitken, 4 goals in his career debut at Virginia. Ryan Conrad from the midfield all contributed 3 goals. Really a huge win to kick off the Lars Tiffany era for Charlottesville and for UVA. Going forward, it's going to be using that fast-paced, up-and-down game for the Hoos, so we'll see where they take it from here.
This is Thomas Casali with Inside Lacrosse. I just returned home from the Carrier Dome, where Syracuse cruised past Siena 19-6. Brendan Bomberry and Nate Solomon each scored 4 goals, while Jordan Evans and Nick Mariano chipped in with 3. The Orange blew open a close game early by scoring 9 unanswered goals, take a 13-3 lead into the third period. Syracuse peppered Siena goalie Aaron Lewis with 54 shots, en route to their 19-6 victory. The highlight of the game came in the second period when Bomberry took a rebound off Lewis and scored a behind-the-back goal. Things will get tougher next week for Syracuse as they host American East favorite Albany next Saturday in the Dome.
This is Jason Myers for Inside Lacrosse. Here after the Denver Air Force game out here in Denver, Colorado. Final score was 14-6. The scoring was led by Connor Cannizzaro for University of Denver. He had 4 goals and 2 helpers on the day. And Ethan Walker had 3 goals and 2 assists in his debut for the Pioneers. That's the most by 5 points is the most by a freshman since 2008. Junior Jeremy Bocher also had a hat trick for the Pioneers, the big Western Canadian product. For Air Force, they're led by Chris Walsh. He had 2 goals, 2 assists, and Andrew Teen, who had 2 goals and an assist. Trevor Baptiste went 15 for 18 at the face-off today, and Alex Dreddy had a whole lot of nice saves out there. Denver defense was really one of the big stories today. They're able to really collapse and force outside shots by the Air Force Falcons that Reddy was able to just see really easily and catch and start the clears.
Welcome to the Epoch Inside Lacrosse Gameday Recap Show. I am Matt Kinnear, joined by Chris Rosenthal. Today, Twitter was abuzz with Virginia's win in that game today, topping Loyola in Lars Tiffany's first game at the helm of that program. But that was far from the only big news today. As more and more games are being added, more and more teams are playing and starting their seasons, it's more time for upsets, and we saw that today as Monmouth took down Villanova, number 16 in the country, 12-10 in one of the early games today. Monmouth, this shouldn't be too surprising for anyone who's been following college lacrosse. Monmouth has a group of 4-year seniors who have been with this team since the program started, and that is kind of the combo of experience and drive that you need to get a win like this. They've had a great defense. Today they were led by their goalie Nick Hresco had 15 saves. Villanova had 5 more turnovers. That's because of Monmouth's tough, stingy defense that causes a lot of turnovers, 8 caused turnovers for that defense. They frustrated Villanova and they forced them into some sloppy play. I asked the coach about this game and about this team. The word he used to describe them is grit. So that's what you saw today from Monmouth. Tyler Keene, 4 goals. Zach Schleicher, 3 goals for Monmouth. They are announcing themselves as a candidate to win the MAC and put non-conference opponents on notice. Today also not the only surprise. One surprise was just a final score that I don't think any of us really expected. Richmond beating Fairfield 15-3. Rosie, you didn't see this coming, did you?
No, just the disparity in the scoring seemed like something I did not anticipate. Richmond winning, I saw them, potentially winning this game, but that kind of offense is not something Richmond's really known for last year. They're defense heavy, forced turnovers, wanted to kind of control the possession. So that kind of offensive dominance was definitely a surprise for me.
Yeah, and it was kind of a surprise on the other end for me. Fairfield's a team I really had ranked a lot higher than a lot of people did in the media poll, and it was because of their defense. I think they're one of the better defenses in the country. I did not see them giving up 15 goals to any team, not Richmond, not Duke, not one of the best teams in the country if they were to play them. So I was really surprised on that end. Teddy Hatfield, 4 goals. Ryan Lee, 4 goals for Richmond. A number of contributors for that team. Benny Pugh, 15 saves. He's a great elite goaltender. He's going to be one of the better goaltenders in Division I lacrosse this year. But really a disappointing showing from Fairfield's defense. They were really sloppy early on. They kind of settled down later, but by that point the damage was too much. Just leaving the inside open for Richmond to kind of make passes inside and really have their way with them on the offensive end there. But this is a very good Fairfield team. Colin Burke was on the February cover of Inside Lacrosse for a reason. Just a bad day for this Fairfield team, but Richmond really proving that, in the SoCon, with them and Air Force, these are 2 teams that are going to be tough for any other conference in the country to play against these teams. They are legitimate top 20 teams, and really it might be a 2-horse race in the SoCon with what we saw from High Point on Friday night. But Rosie, there's another game that you were watching really closely today, and that's Bucknell-Bryant. Bucknell coming back for the 2nd straight week, a come-from-behind win, a come-from-behind 1-goal win, beating Bryant 9-8 today. What did you see from Bucknell?
Well, Bucknell, it was really interesting how they were able to, first of all, come back and win, because, the game-winning goal came with 11 seconds left off a feed from Sands to O'Hara. Now, the crazy thing about that is 11 seconds left. That was the only 11 seconds that they were leading in this game. They just steadily fought back the whole time and shut Bryant out in the 4th quarter. Really impressive how they managed to score their goals, because they weren't scoring on, alley dodges or isolations or anything like that. It was all catch and shoot, off-ball dodging, feeds from X. Like I said, Sands taking care of the ball from behind. They just found a way to eventually put it away.
And Will Sands right now might be my favorite lacrosse player to watch. He's incredible from behind. He's incredible off the restart. 2 of their late goals were restarts that Sands just picked apart the defense when he came back in, made quick passes that led to scores and led to the Bucknell win. So 2 wins for the Bison in dramatic fashion both times, 2 character wins for them.
Inside Lacrosse, Zach Babbo here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, where Maryland just topped Navy 15-12 in nice early season action. Really, this game was close throughout the first half, 6-5 at halftime. Navy scored quickly in the second half to get it to 6-6, but then Maryland really opened it up. A 4-0 run in the 3rd quarter, an 8-2 run overall from the 3rd into the 4th quarter really built the distance that Maryland was able to kind of comfortably build a lead. Navy had a nice surge at the end, but it just wasn't enough to carry them through. Brady Dove enjoyed a strong day at the faceoff X for Navy, going 21 of 29 overall. The day for Navy was led on offense by Ryan Wade. He continues his impressive start to the season. He put up 4 goals and 3 assists. Maryland enjoyed a couple of high scorers today. Matt Rambo had 3 goals, 3 assists. Colin Heacock put up 2 and 3. Dylan Maltz finished with 4 goals. Another balanced effort in the win today for Maryland. Navy continues to look strong at the faceoff X and good defensive stances, but they got beat often in transition today. That was the key to Maryland's early success, and then later on through more patient offensive sets. Maryland travels to Philadelphia for a Tuesday game against St. Joe's on Valentine's Day. Navy will next be in action next weekend up in Delaware.
Some quick hits that just kind of go a few games around the country that really stood out to us that we just wanted to highlight. First one, Lehigh 13, Jacksonville 12. Great showing for Coach John Galloway in his first game. It's going to be a bright future down in Florida for him in that program. Rosie, Penn State 21, Hobart 15. What do you have to say?
Mac O'Keefe, 7 goals first time out, 7 points this time. Just Penn State, you have to keep an eye on this young program. The guys they have, Grant Ament, had another tremendous game. He's got 10 points through 2 games. Just really keep an eye on Penn State. They're really accurate with their shooting. Everybody's about 65, 70%, 75% on goal. And really keep an eye on how they progress this season.
Another score that stood out to me, Delaware 18, Mount St. Mary's 5. To me, this proves Delaware's offense wasn't a fluke last week. I thought their offense was the best we've seen in Delaware in years, and they proved that again. Charlie Kitchen is a game-changing freshman for them. Rosie, North Carolina 7, Furman 3.
Obviously you want the win. That's the best thing that North Carolina can say about this. But 7 goals, you have to be concerned. There were questions coming into the season. North Carolina, how are they going to generate their offense without Steve Pontrello operating from X like he did last year? Is somebody going to step up as a primary feeder, just initiating from behind, or are they going to work from top down? So, 7 goals, they have to figure out how they're going to produce a little bit more than that. They have some serious people coming into their schedule very soon. We've got Hopkins, Denver, I believe, the week after that. So, a win is good, but still got some work to, I guess.
Definitely another game to highlight. Marist 12, Colgate 8, the MAC beating the Patriot League in this contest. J.D. Recor, former Inside Lacrosse intern, 5 goals, 2 assists. Great game, J.D. MLL teams, take a look at this guy. He's a hard worker. Draft him next spring.
Hi, this is Peter Katrumpis reporting for Inside Lacrosse from Koskinen Stadium, following a 10-5 win by the 10th-ranked Duke Blue Devils over the High Point Panthers. Blue Devils, playing their second game of the week, made up for an 11-10 loss to Air Force last week by playing a little bit more of a detailed game, both in the offensive and defensive ends. Duke clamped down on the defense, shutting out the Panthers during the final quarter, and eventually ending up with a 5-goal margin of victory. Justin Gooderding scored 3 here, as well as 2 goals from Kevin Quigley, as well as Joey Manone, who led the Blue Devils offense throughout the game. Duke split duties with their goalkeepers, Danny Fowler and Turner Upgren. Tim Troutner played a great game for High Point, making 11 saves, but just not enough to allow High Point to get that first win of the season.
So that's it for this weekend. Another great weekend. We're going to be here all year with the Epoch Gameday Recap show. You can gear up for your season with Epic's gear, including the Gen 6 Dragonfly shaft, ultralight otter mesh, and the Hawk Sequel head.